Raise up and crush that. Yeah. Yeah. Micah 4:13. Raise up and crush the nations, O Jerusalem, says the Lord, for I will give you iron horns and bronze hooves, so you can trample many nations. Because that was the conversation last Sunday. Sometimes we have some things that get us stuck in a moment, and sometimes it's time just to raise up and crush whatever is getting us stuck and not getting us get closer to the Lord. Because of Jesus and because of the Holy Spirit, now we have power to do that kind of things. Now we have power to operate in freedom and not a slave to those things that were taking us back with the Lord. So why it's important to listen to this sermon and to be here this morning? Because as human beings, we are in the pursuit of many things that we lack to feel good. But if we don't go to the source of completeness, soundness, welfare, and peace, we will never be satisfied. Welcome to the sermon. Go to the source. Micah chapter 5, verse 1 through 4. Mobilize, marshal your troops. The enemy is laying siege to Jerusalem. They will strike Israel's leader in the face with a rod. But you, O Bethlehem, Ephrathah, are only a small village among all the people of Judah. Yet a ruler of Israel, whose origins are in the distant past, will come from you on my behalf. Verse 3. The people of Israel will be abandoned to their enemies until the woman in labor gives birth. Then at last his fellow countrymen will return from exile to their own land, and he will stand to lead his flock with the Lord's strength, in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God. Then his people will live there undisturbed, for he will be highly honored around the world. So maybe some of you are like connecting these verses, the first ones, with something that in the New Testament is mentioned. So it's a prophecy that is like what the people say, Bible quoting the Bible. So Matthew is quoting Micah to say that this prophecy is going to be fulfilled in Jesus. So King Herod was like, what does it mean that another king is coming? Like, I'm the king here, so he brings like the high priest, the chief priest, and the scribes, the teachers of the law, and he said, tell me, where is the Messiah going to be born? And they go and quote Micah. And they say, well, Micah says that from Bethlehem is going to come the Messiah. And this verse, we believe, points to Jesus, and God as the source of salvation. There's going to be a season where you're going to be in exile, but there will be from Bethlehem a king that is going to bring you back, that is going to save you, that is going to restore the nation of Israel. And it's interesting that it's not from a big place. It's not from the place that everybody's expecting, from Jerusalem. It's just from a small town in Bethlehem. Because the strength is not going to come from the place. It's not going to come from Jesus itself or by himself, but from the Lord. That power is going to come from the Lord. And sometimes, I think we want the conditions to be great. We don't want to be in Bethlehem. We want to be in Jerusalem. We want to experience the power of Jerusalem, not the power of Bethlehem. And because sometimes our life doesn't look like Jerusalem, and they look more like Bethlehem, we think that the Lord's not doing anything. We think that we're missing something. The Lord is not here enough. Because if he was here, then we will have power, we will have this, we will have blessings, I wouldn't be doing this and that. And sometimes we think that things need to be great, depending on what we define greatness, okay? So that we can see and feel the power of the Lord. When it looks like Jerusalem, then I'm going to know is God with me. Then I'm going to know that God has come to me. Then I'm going to know that something is happening, But he doesn't need any of that to show his power. You can be Jerusalem, you can be Bethlehem, and he can do great things with you. You can come from a small place, you can come from a big place. It doesn't matter. He can do great things with you. Inland Valley can look like a Bethlehem, like a small village, but he can do great things from Inland Valley. to the families, to the people around us, to our friends, to the community, to the neighborhood. Like, we don't need to be Jerusalem. We only need to be with the Lord. Bethlehem was the place where the Savior was coming. He can do great things out of things that we think are not going to be enough to bring power, to bring transformation, to show something. And sometimes I think about myself, and it looks like more like Bethlehem. You know, it's more like you cannot even pronounce the town where I was born, Barranca Bermeja. So it's like, it's not LA. LA is more cool. You know? It's just like, when I was coming here, I was in the process of like identifying and all that. I was like, who am I to be there, you know? Because I was thinking about myself as a Bethlehem, as a place that nothing good comes out of Bethlehem. Nothing good comes from Nazareth. No, nothing good comes from these places. A lot of good things comes from Jerusalem. So we place the power and the situation to the things, to the places, to the conditions, and not to the Lord. And sometimes, because we think that we're Jerusalem, so we think we're powerful. And sometimes we're distant from the Lord, which happened to Jerusalem. We don't need to be great because He is going to make us great. We don't need to be like strong and this and that because He is the one that is going to bring that power from within us, from Himself to us. In fact, we cannot be great without Him. There's no way we can find greatness without Him. And the problem is when we try to become like Jerusalem and ended up with like Jerusalem in ruins. Because that's what we see in the other nations, you know? They look powerful. They look great. They look that they're doing great. Like when you see other people, everybody's doing better than you. You know, have you ever been in that place where you see that everybody's doing better? Like every family is doing better. Every children is doing better. Every person, everybody from my generation is doing better. From my high school is doing better. And we try to become like them, trying to be Jerusalem with our own strength, which was what Jerusalem was doing at the time. And then, boom, to ruins. Because salvation comes from the Lord. Blessings comes from the Lord. Strength comes from the Lord. Wealth comes from the Lord. Prosperity comes from the Lord. Peace comes from the Lord. And we need to go to the source to find that. Verse 5. And He will be the source of peace. They needed that peace at the time. Okay, Micah is not talking to us directly. He wasn't written to us in Ontario at this time. He was written to the people in Israel at the time. They were facing situations and he's writing to them. So what we're doing right now is that we're seeing what was happening today and see how we can connect to that, to those ideas, okay? They needed that peace at the time because there was a lot of wars, a lot of things happening that were not good. They needed that peace. They needed to hear He will be the source of peace because they were not in peace. They were in war. They thought that what they were doing was the right thing to do. They thought that their path was the one that was going to bring them to greatness and to something good with the Lord. And now they're about to fall apart completely, go to ruins. They needed that peace, and we need that peace. Sometimes we have so many words in our minds and in our hearts and in our families, in our relationships, that we don't know what to do. You know, have you ever been in that moment, in that place where like things are just going down? You just try and they just go down, and you just try and try and try, and everything's just going down and down, and you don't know what's going on sometimes. You know, it's like, why is this happening? We have internal wars, emotional crisis, mental illness, physical illness. When we self-sabotage ourselves, we're doing something in there. You know, you need to do this, and then you put it back. We have external wars, you know, marriage issues, friendship issues, relationship fights in relationships, money, the world. And there's world. The verse says, and He will be the source of peace. So it's hard to find peace when war is so outstanding. when war is so visible that there is hard to find peace in the middle of that. But what the verse says is, He will be the source of peace. And I think the problem is that we go and try to any other sources to find that peace. And guess what happened? We don't find the peace. It's like, but I've been doing this and I don't find peace. I've been pushing here and I don't find peace. I've been trying to do this and to do this and that, but I don't find the peace that I'm needing. You know, there's more war in me. He will be the source of peace. And maybe that proves a lot of our distraction, disconnection to the source. Because we're not looking to the source, that is Jesus. We're looking in other things. And maybe that proves our reliance on something else, on a bunch of other things. Because we haven't found that peace that was promised to come from Bethlehem, from Jesus to us. And He will be the source of peace. We need that peace. We need that shalom. So the word for peace in this Hebrew version will be shalom. Maybe some of you have heard shalom. Shalom can also be translated as completeness, soundness, welfare, and peace. You can see that in the next slide. Completeness, soundness, welfare, and peace. We are looking constantly for completeness. We are looking constantly for soundness. We are looking constantly for welfare. A lot of things that we do is because we want to be fine. We want our people to be fine. So we make we make decisions, we go to work, we do this, and we do that because we want to be well. And in the meantime, also, we want to find peace. Because when we have an income, when we have food, when we have friends, when we have community, when we have these things, we find peace in ourselves. There's some kind of soundness in ourselves. And that's what it means when He was saying, and He will be the source of completeness. He will be the source of soundness. He will be the source of welfare. He will be the source of peace. And a lot of the times, we do things because we're trying to find that completeness. We have holes, we have needs that are so painful, so we try to fill them up with anything. Sometimes the pain is so much that we just need to fill it with something, with whatever. I don't want to feel this pain, so I need to fill it with whatever it is. Whatever it is, I'm going to fill it up because this pain is so painful, I don't want to feel it anymore. I don't want to be in that situation, you know? And I guess we have experienced pain in different ways, different levels. When you have a pain, you want the pain to go away. You don't want to live with the pain. You don't enjoy the pain. You don't like, yeah, I like this pain in my back. I like the pain in my knee. I'm feeling so great. You don't do that kind of things. And even the same when the pain is not translated as a physical pain. Oh yeah, I like that I'm not doing well with my mom. I love this. You know, it's like, I love that my friends don't want to talk to me. I just enjoy that moment in my life. You don't do that, you know. Oh, I enjoy the marriage problems that I'm having. It's so great. You want to get rid of the pain, so you try to fill them up with whatever. And in the process, we end up in a bunch of chaos. We end up with more wars. Because we go and fill those key holes, gaps in our life with things that are not good for us. And the problem, I think, is that when we go and fill one, it opens 10. And it was like, we go and fill this one and open more, 12 more. And now we're all messed up suddenly, and we don't understand why. And we're like, what's going on? I've been trying to do this and that, but there's more. Now I can see just a big hole in my life. Lori Gottlieb, I mentioned her before in her book, Maybe You Should Talk to Someone. I like that title. By the way, maybe you should talk to someone. She says, so many of our destructive behaviors take root in an emotional void, an emptiness that calls out for something to fill it. So there's some psychology behind the mess that we're doing. the situation. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Because there's something inside of us that is trying to bring completeness to us. Because to fill that hole in ourselves is so painful that we want to fill it with anything. Maybe you try first with the good things, and they don't feel like that they're doing something. Then you go like, and then you eat it. You know? At that point, maybe the pain is so hard, or maybe you are so like desperate, you don't have patience enough that you just want to fill it with anything. And you're like, and then you're like, like we went to all-you-can-eat sushi. After that, I was like, why did I do this? I was like, but in the meantime, you're like, yeah, let's get more. Let's get more. It's all included. Let's get more. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore. But sometimes our lives are like that. You have that emotional void that you want to fill it with anything. And then you're like, you have more holes. We need to find that shalom in our lives going to the source. And He will be the source of completeness. He will be the source of peace. Keep going in other directions. Keep trying different things. If you find something different than Jesus, please come and tell me. I may come here and preach something different. I don't think so. And He will be the source of welfare, and He will be the source of soundness. But you try to find that soundness in something else, and we are doing it wrong. 5-11. When the Syrians invade our land and break through our defenses, He will appoint 7 rulers to watch over us, 8 princes to lead us. They will rule Syria with drawn swords and enter the gates of the land of Nimrod. He will rescue us from the Syrians when they pour over the borders to invade our land. Verse 7. Then the remnant left in Israel will take their place among the nations. They will be like dew sent by the Lord, or like rain falling on the grass, which no one can hold back and no one can restrain. Verse 8. The remnant left in Israel will take their place among the nations. They will be like a lion among the animals of the forest, like a strong young lion among flocks of sheep and goats, pouncing and tearing as they go with no rescue in sight. The people of Israel will stand up to their foes, and all their enemies will be wiped out. In that day, says the Lord, I will slaughter your horses and destroy your chariots. I will tear down your walls and demolish your defenses. At the time, it doesn't make sense because we don't live in that context anymore, but at the time, horses, chariots, walls was the representation of wealth, of richness, Like if you have horses, chariots, and walls, and you live in that kind of environment, you're powerful, okay? So you can bring that context into right now. Maybe if you have whatever, an airplane, a big house, a pool, whatever it is. You look good. You are good if you have those conditions. That was the conditions at the time. And He says, I'm going to destroy all that. I'm going to wipe it out. Like the things we put together to find completeness, to find welfare, to find peace. Sometimes we put walls and we try to get things, like if I get this, then I'm going to feel better. If I buy this, I'm going to feel better. If I get with these people, I'm going to feel better. If I get to be with this person in my life, I'm going to feel better. If I get to marry this girl, I'm going to feel better. If I get to do this, I'm going to feel better. Keep going in that direction and not go to the source. And He says, I'm going to destroy all that. Because you feel powerful when you have those things. I'm going to wipe them out. All that can be destroyed to show us that He is what we really need. And this is kind of like external situations, things that He's talking about. But He's going to go deeper. Verse 12-15. I will put an end to all witchcraft, and there will be no more fortune tellers. I will destroy all your idols and sacred pillars, so you will never again worship the work of your own hands. I will abolish your idols' shrines with the Asherah poles and destroy your pagan cities. I will pour out my vengeance on all the nations that refuse to obey me. I will destroy your idols. the things you put above him, he can destroy all that thing. And do you have idols? That's the question. Do you have any idols? Anything that you put above the Lord, that could be your idol. In whatever way. And it can be like people that you love. It doesn't have to be like completely negative. You know, it can be whatever you put above the Lord, that can be your idol. That can become your idol. It can be your work, it can be your family, it can be your kids, it can be your whatever. Your friend, your houses, your money, your chariots, your walls, whatever you put above the Lord, that can be your idol. Do you know your idols? Because when you have an idol, you have the idol for some reason, okay? That idol is giving you something. And that void, in that incompleteness in your life, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, that idol is giving you, apparently, what you need, okay? That's why you have that idol. That idol is not kicking you, it's giving you something, okay? But that idol is not like a person that is, no, it's something that is giving you, that's why you're holding to that idol, okay? So when he says, I'm going to destroy your idols, it's kind of like the things that are giving you what you think you need in the time, momentarily, he can come and wipe that out. And that, it's going to be painful. That is not going to be great. Because you have been holding to that thing for a while, that if he comes and take it away, you're probably going to cry. You're probably going to feel the void of that not giving you anymore. But sometimes it's what we really need. Because we don't have the power to take that idol away. We don't have the power to say, you know what, I'm not going to worship you anymore because you're so attached to that it's so complicated to let it go. And to trust in the Lord and to say, you know what, I trust in you, so I'm going to let you go. But you go like Ellie with Tommy. Like, Ellie, don't kiss him. Relax. It's like he's going to be here. It's like, come on. So sometimes we do that with the idols. Like, I know, Lord, I trust in you, but man, you go and like grab the idol. I'm gonna miss you. It's like, come on, it's an idol. I'm gonna miss you so much. You were part of my life. And yes, it was part of your life, but it was opening a bunch of walls and holes, and it was making you terrible and horrible and miserable. Like you were not even recognizing because it was giving you something. It was giving you something, okay? That is clear. The problem is actually what's happening in you and how that is actually disconnecting you from the Lord. And that's why he says, I will be the source of peace, but I will come and destroy the things that are not giving you peace. I will be your source of completeness, but I need to come and destroy what you think are giving you completeness, but is actually destroying you. I need to do something. It's like a surgery, and a surgery is painful. There's recovery time. There is grief for something that happened before. Sometimes we just want to be on the next side. That's what we think about heaven, like in a better way. If I just die, then everything is going to be great. Because I don't have to deal with anything. Apparently, when we just woke up, everything's going to be great. So, solution, done. I didn't have to deal with my sins. I didn't have to deal with my idols. I just have to die and then go there. Sounds like a good plan. You will never again worship the work of your hands. Man, we work with our hands to put things because we want to feel proud of the things. We want recognition. We want other people to feel good with us because of what we do. And we work with our hands to put things together. Work, family, this and that. And you work with your hands. And Jesus telling you, you will never again worship the work of your hands. That is painful. That is not a beautiful place. That is not a nice place. It's a beautiful place. We create things, and then we worship those things. We put things together, and then we're like, and that is separating us from God. That is separating us from the Lord. You may think you're getting something. You actually may be getting something. But that's something that you're getting may be so destructive that can bring you down to ruins. That can bring you down in a bad and a hard way. Why do we want to get there? If the source of peace, completeness, welfare is just right there waiting for us to come to Him, and He will give us what we need. In our pursuit of that shalom, we create things, we worship things, we go and have a relationship with things that maybe are not good for us. In our pursuit of that happiness, the pursuit of happiness, we try to go and fill those gaps and voids and needs with whatever fills them, because we don't want to feel the pain of that. But at the end of the day, we feel less complete. We feel worse. We feel terrible. And sometimes we don't know what's going on. We don't understand what's going on. Because the invitation, and has been, and it's this morning, is to go to the source. The source is, it cannot be me. I'm not your source of peace. My marriage is not your source of peace. What I do here and what I don't here is not your source of peace. Your partners are not your sources of peace and welfare and completeness. Sometimes we try to do that with our partners. So now you don't do that, then we're having an issue. The source of completeness needs to come from the Lord, because the Lord will complete the relationship. The Lord will complete your situation, your life, her life, and everything together. But we try to find my completeness in things that are not capable. I'm not going to be able to give completeness to Princess because I'm failing. I try to do things, but I mess it up because I'm not Jesus. So if we keep and going in that way, we're going to get like Jerusalem. We're going to end up like Jerusalem in ruins. And he's going to come and destroy things, and that's going to be a painful process. Well, maybe that process is something that we need. We need that shaking moment in our lives where he's like, that's not what you need. I've been telling you. The invitation is to go to the source of peace and completeness. And he will provide. He will satisfy your needs. He will clean you. He will heal you. He will reconcile you. He will bring you back to something beautiful, to something that you were created with. He will give you what you need. So just go to the source. God bless you.